Everything is possible in this country if people are determined. You know, Professor Van Braun, who was in charge of NASA exploration to the moon, he told John F. Kennedy, when John F. Kennedy was asking him, can we get a plane to the moon, a craft to the moon? He said, yes, the political will to do it. He said, if there's a will, there's nothing that man cannot do. So I believe that, you know, if there's a will there on the part of our leaders, and especially on the part of Nigerians, not even leaders anymore, because these ones, they're just managing their own interests. They don't have your interest or my interest at heart. Can you imagine negotiating with terrorists, negotiating with bandits? You know, it's got to the stage where and they don't want to negotiate with you anymore. So it shows that they are not patriotic enough. They don't believe that this country belongs to everybody. They don't believe it. They just believe that, look, okay, we are already eating. Okay, you want to come and eat, you need to come and eat some. That's their own ideology. But meanwhile, we have young people in Nigeria here who are setting up Flutterwave, who are in tech and doing so many things, and they want, you know, to let this the intelligence come out. I think I've said enough for now. I'll leave all the speakers to come on. Thanks again for giving us the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mobolaji. It was really quite interesting, you know, listening to you. And for me, like I've always said, that we must not discriminate based on age. The fact that we have certain people who are in their 70s and they are ruling the country and they are doing so incompetently must not be a reason why everybody, it's not every old person that is that incompetent, the same way that it's not every young person that is competent. And so it's always here. But we do the anger, you know, sometimes you look at it, it's justified in a way when you see a lot of young people who are saying, we don't want anybody, old generation and all of that, because consistently they have been the ones who have ruled the country. They ruled when they were young, they're still old, they're ruling, and they failed. And they failed even when they were young, and we've come up all the way. The sad thing about Nigeria is that we keep looking back and we just keep saying that, oh, it was better yesterday, it was better yesterday, it was better. And as long as we keep romanticizing the past and not doing anything about the present, the past will always be better. It's the same with the way things in 2014, none of us thought that things can be worse than they were in 2014. And yet today, people are romanticizing 2014. And today also, if we don't do the right thing, if we continue to do what we are doing, 2027, we will start be romanticizing 2023 and saying that, oh, 2023 was better. Things have never been this bad in Nigeria and all of that. And then we romanticize the whole thing. So we need to get to work. And of course, yes, politics, when they say politics is dirty, so let's all be dirty. What's the essence of being clean and soul-free? We're clean, but we are getting all sorts of dirty policies, all sorts of things. So why don't you go in there, be dirty with them, and also do it? And I like the thing, one of the things that Mobolaji has pointed out to us is that it's not always about money. It's not always about people think that, oh, I must have billions before I run, or if somebody doesn't, if you don't have the money, the structure. People are the structure. Our anger will be the structure. Our passion for Nigeria will be the structure. We will be out there. Where the billionaires, we need to pay 10 million naira for something or 100 million naira for something. We will do it for free by volunteering. Do you know what is volunteering? If I decide whatever it is, this is my math, I will volunteer for this country. I will follow you here. I will go here. You will not need to pay me. So you will not need those billions. Those that have billions, some of us say that, oh, we will volunteer to be polling unit agents for certain candidates. They are not paying you. That money that they would have looked for, the person that doesn't have the billions wouldn't need that money. They will have volunteers all through. While the billionaires are busy paying their polling unit agents, you that your own is you have volunteers who are doing it passionately. You will not need to pay anything. So these are the things. Oh, they need an office. Somebody comes in to say, oh, I have a house I'm not using. I have an office. Can you use it for a while? Can you use this space? Oh, somebody can say, oh, we can pay for hotel, so 2 hotel rooms for so nights. So we can pay this, we can pay that. That's how you do. Somebody will donate their 100 naira. Somebody will donate their 1,000. Another will donate their 1 million naira. We will get that in there. But when we just keep sitting down to say that, oh, it's only people who have billions, it's only people who have billions that will be able to speak, that will be able to run for office, then guess what? The people who have stolen our nation dry will continue to perpetuate themselves in office and also perpetuate their stooges. And before I call on to you to take the mic, please kindly request for the mic. if you want to give your contribution. Mark, earlier you had requested for the mic. I think the network threw you up. Please kindly do so again. I think I see you. I will come to you. So from what Bobolaji said so many, Mobolaji said so many things. And one of the things he pointed out was the issue of crude oil and the fact that there are a lot of countries who don't even have crude oil. Singapore doesn't even have any natural resources. That was a country that nobody wanted. They were chasing them away and saying, go. But see what you did. That's transformational leadership. But we refuse to have that same vote for those kind people in our country. When they come in, when they even ask to lead us, when good people come into office, we shame them, we laugh at them, we make fun of them, you think it's by grammar, and then we are complaining that we are suffering. Singapore, like you said, has so many refineries, they don't even have crude oil. But we here in Nigeria that we have crude oil, our refineries are not working. So just sit down for a moment and imagine that all these refineries, we sold them off. We don't even need to sell them off. The workers in the refinery, the NNPC workers, right? Can we package all the refineries, right? And dash them. And then we will give them 13 barrels of oil to start off. So we give it to them. Government totally remove its hands. And we say, okay, take this oil. You guys take it. We've given you the refinery. And this is oil. Use it. You'll be buying oil. We will sell the first set to you on credit, right? Or we dash you. Then you'll be buying crude oil, refine it and sell it to Nigerians, and you can also transfer it, export it, and use it to pay your needs, take care of your refiners, and do everything. Imagine how much the Nigerian government will save. We are spending billions on refineries that are not working every year. By 2023, NNPC will come and tell us that, they are going to refurbish the refineries. They will start working at 100% capacity. We don't want it. Just go. You people take the refinery so that at least the money that we are spending on on paying their salaries and everything will be used towards, even if it's public education, even if it's the education. Let's just put it there. The billions we're using on refineries no longer. Nigeria, imagine even the subsidy, we take that off and focus on, so use it on education, use it on health, so that people are not using their own money. But anyway, that is part of the things that we can imagine when we put in people with competence, character, and capacity into office. Toyib, you have the mic.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the space. Thank you so much to all previous speakers. I think Mr. Mobolaji actually rounded it all up, and the previous speaker as well, when they said we should immortalize Aisha Yusufu for the job that she did. What is important is that you have been consistent in trying to sing this to our ears, and the people that are growing up, that I found that kind of like always continuously repeating the same thing. You know, we had Fela Kuti and we had Chief Gani Fawayimi that continue to tell us that, look, what you are working, the Nigeria that we have now, it needs to change. You know, Chief Gani actually shouted till he lost his voice. Before he died, his voice was very, very faint, and it was always Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. What are we doing about Nigeria? He contested for election, I think in 2023, and there is this video of his debate on YouTube that I always watch. He came to that debate with facts and figures, and he was telling Nigerians how he intended to work with Nigeria, how he intended to work with the numbers, how he intended to invest in education. But unfortunately, we didn't vote him to power. And we also had Fela Kuti as well. He sang Suffering and Smiling in 1981. And whenever I go back to listen to that song, and I say everything that Fela sang in that song, it is still the same today. How do we talk about a country with 30,000 minimum wage and crate of egg is 2,000 naira? How do we quantify that? You know, we also have the same life to live as people in Europe. You know, we only have one life. Why should it be this bad for Nigerians? You know, you have malaria, you can't buy medicine. you have to resort to agbo because anti-malaria tablets are becoming expensive. This is not the way to live life. The way a lot of people are living life is not supposed to be like that. But unfortunately, as you said, we cannot pray our way out of it. God has already blessed Nigeria when he created Nigeria. Nigeria has 2% of the world's arable land. 2%. In some places where you cut tomato and you pour the water outside, in a couple of days tomato will start growing there. That is how fertile our land is. So we are not taking advantage of this. Is it God that will come and help us to farm land? The technology to farm land optimally is over 100 years old. Why have we not been able to feed ourselves in Nigeria to the extent that we can even export food? There are countries that have terrible land and they are able to utilize whatever they have effectively. These are serious, serious issues. Last year, NBS said 23 million Nigerians are unemployed. 23 million. Togo and Benin Republic combined, they are not up to 23 million. How many children do we have going out of schools? This, we don't need any prayer anymore. In MFM, they are fasting and praying 24/7. We need to act. We need to act. This year, Israel is spending $21 billion on education. Saudi Arabia is spending $49 billion on education. In 2019, Israel invested $21 billion on their military. Saudi invested $62 billion on their military. They are not waiting for God to come down and protect them. They are praying and they are working. So the fact that, let's pray for good leaders, we have to use our hand to choose the people that we want to put in power. You know, Lagos-Ibadan Express derail cost $1.5 billion. China gave us a loan of $1.3 billion. When somebody gives you that much money to build something, then they have to control everything. They will control the procurement, they will control the people you put there, they will control the kind of people that work there. Why did it take that long? Why did he have to take a loan to develop our infrastructure with all the money we've been making all these years? In the 70s, the UK gave a state visit to Shehu Shagari and Yakubu Gowon. Before you get a state visit, that means the UK sees you very big. They see your potential, they see you have money, they see you have everything. We never took advantage of all of this. But the funny thing is that, like you said, it might even become worse than it is now if we don't start acting. If we look at China, if we look at Singapore, it took them 2 decades. So we are not even ready on the boat to start walking towards where we want to be. Nigeria is the only place where you borrow money to build a road and then you do fanfare to celebrate it. Where did you get the money for the fanfare for? You know, why you collect loan, build a road, and then to borrow money again to celebrate building the road that might not even be up to standard? Our barrier, our standard has been so low, and that is why people come again, they come again, because they know they will always have their way. And that's why they are stopping education as well. So the work you are doing, Ma, is excellent. We can't do enough of it. We just have to continue to let our people know is that for things to change for us, we have to change. We are serving some people with the first generation politicians, second generation politicians. They are also grooming their children for third generation. And we see with the whole of Nigeria, we don't have anybody other sensible than this family. Come on, we can do better. In the UK, they say if you are good enough, you are old enough. Find young people that are competent. Find old people that are competent, that can show us track record of performance. This is what we have to do. We follow Manchester United in Nigeria, we follow Arsenal, we follow Chelsea. When the manager loses like 4 matches, we say sack the manager. But we have an incompetent local government chairman that is there. We didn't say sack that one. You know, it does double standard. If we expect our coaches in the Premier League to perform, we must also expect the politician collecting salary to perform. So, I don't know, but it is a long way, but nobody will fix this country for us but ourselves. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Toy, for your kind word, and also thank you so much for the education. You know, it's always a beauty to listen to you at all times. Some of the things that struck me while he was speaking is like taking the Saudi Arabia and Israel. These are the countries that we here in Nigeria, we spend billions of naira to actually go. We give them billions of naira to visit these countries for pilgrimage and all of that. It's almost like a thing of a bragging right for people to say, oh, I've been to Israel how many times, I've been to Saudi Arabia so number of times. There are people that will tell you that, oh, they've been there 20-something times, they've been there this, they've been there that. But these people that we go there for pilgrimage, where we go to pray, where we want to be closer to God and say prayers, and our prayers will be magnified, will be easily accepted, and all of that, to fulfill our religious obligations, they are working. They're not just praying. They are praying and using their sense. Nigeria, we've had money, we have the resources, we've had the people. What we've just refused to have is sense. Simple as ABCD. That's just the A and B of it. So these are people, they're spending so much billions on education, they are spending so much billion on military. They are not just paying. We are here. We are fighting insurgency, but we are praying our way. We want to pray our way out of insurgency. We want to sweet talk our way out of insurgency. Maybe if we beg them enough, they will drop their guns. There's a governor, I think it was the Zamfara state governor, that was even buying vehicles for them, having meetings with them. I think thinking that you don't negotiate from a point of weakness. You negotiate from a point of strength. If you want to you first of all have to deal with them, massively kill them, and lay them where they are, when they know there's no other option than for them to drop the arms. That's when you go to the table. They will be the ones dropping those arms. Not that you are sitting here and begging them and giving them money and vehicle and all of that. See the whole crisis that is going on in APC. See the governors whose states have been taken over by bandits. In Niger State, most of the local government in Niger State have been controlled by bandits. Farms, people can't go to farms. You farm, they will destroy your farms, or they will tell you that. And Niger State is one of the food baskets of Nigeria, also with Benue, Nasarawa, and all of that. I remember when I was doing haulage, transport this thing, there's a place more car. I used to carry farm produce, yam and all of that from that Niger State to Lagos. Being taken over, and yet he's busy being interested in the whatever shenanigans that they are doing at their political level. And of course, he knows that he's not going to pay any price, because we the people, we don't want to sell our hand to politics. We don't want to do anything. Even when organizations are trying to enter it, we are the ones even attacking them. One of the things that I will say also is that sadly, we are on the path for Nigeria to be worse than we are for Nigeria to be good. Is the reality we are. This path we are on today, when we are refusing to take part in politics, when we are busy attacking each other, when we are busy attacking, saying is insinuating all sorts of things in everything that people are doing. And that's why the title for today was, do we really want a country that was, or we merely want to be right? Because the course we are on is for us to get to 4 years from now, we will look back and say, 2023 was so good, Buhari was so good, because many people will forget, the same way people are saying now today that 2014 was so good, Jonathan was so good, he did not attack anybody. Because you forgot, or because you were looking at another place. And if we do the same thing, by 2027 we're going to be doing the same thing. For how long are we going to be doing that, romanticizing the past without doing anything to solve the future? We can't go away with it. For those of you who are just joining in today, the title, although it might not be there on the title, what we are mainly looking at is the memo that comes from the Redeemed Christian Church of God, where they say that what was the name that they even called it, right? Let me look for that. They are setting up an office called Office of Directorate of Politics and Governance, which for me is an amazing development, welcome development. I see a lot of people who are attacking it. Some people are saying that, it's a sly move to support Osibanjo and all of that. And I'm like, if it's a sly move, and it's Osibanjo the only politician in Nigeria, if they support him, we don't like him, we don't vote for him. If there are other people who want to go into politics from their different, these are like the Redeemed Christian, they have reach everywhere. They should be, and they have such influence over people, and they also feel the effect of that, because most people from that, it's not everybody that is in Redeemed that is rich. There are people who will say, that like me to even get food it's not easy. There are people that are finding it fun, and then when bad policies happen, guess what? They are more affected because it's the poor that is more affected, and then the church have to carry their wahala. And so they are feeling that more people are coming for help, more people are coming for aid, more people will have to carry a lot of more people. Even the tithes myself at some level, yeah, it will reduce. Yeah, there might be other people who are getting the loot or whatever that are paying some tithes or sadaka or whatever. But generally, everybody is affected. So why shouldn't they be interested in politics? Redeem can do it, Living Faith can do it, Catholic Church can do it. I think I've done something in a tweet of Catholic Church. So what are you people doing? And if all of these people start doing it, the labor union also start doing it. NMA, NBA, ASU, student union, trade union, market women association, they start bringing up. They're also having office of this politics and governance, directorate of politics and governance, sending people there. And then we say we're not so happening. We have people who are speaking for the people in these places. For example, even we here on Twitter, we should do something and send some people to the legislative arm of government so that tomorrow, if another government wants to ban Twitter, we know we have our voices there that will say to them, no, while we are protesting from outside, we also have people on the table. I be King, over to you. You have the mic, please.
All right, thank you so much for this platform. I really want to appreciate you for what you're doing for the country. And, when I think of this goal that don't think of what your country can do for you, think of what you can do for your country. I think of people like you. And I've seen you on TV several times. To be in this room and share space with you is such an honor. And thank you so much for what you're doing for the country. Just go straight to the point. Just go straight to the point. I remember posting on Facebook, registering my interest to want to go into politics and some of the things I think I would want to do. And one of the first person that responded to me was a church member who said, go and become a billionaire first. All right? Go and become a billionaire first. He said, until you're a billionaire, your idea, you don't have an idea. All right? So, and I'm like, until politics in Nigeria becomes about, it's a function.
Hello, I be King.
Yes.
Hello, sorry, please. I'm sorry I'm doing this. That point you made, let me just interrupt a little bit and say something. You see, when you said go and be a billionaire first, that person is not saying you should go and make your billions by working hard and doing something legitimate. It means go and loot billions first, then you can come. And this is one thing, like I keep saying to people, I say, look, when we see some of these candidates that some of us are outraged and say, how can they vote this person that has looted, he has corruption cases, whatever, they are not hearing you because a lot of people, their values align with such things. So for a lot of people, they have found it okay that people will loot. When you steal Nigerian money, then you now come and run for, but that's what they see politicians to be. The rest of you are the ones that should be suffer-head people that will carry their wahala. And that's why I keep saying there must be a tough love that we begin to set to let people know that, look, if you sit down and say that it is people that have looted from you that are okay to come and run for politics, and then when they come, they will give you money for you to vote for them. When you are suffering those 4 years of suffering, if you don't meet them, if you come to us, sorry, we will not solve. We will send you to those people to go and do it. And honestly, it's something that it's so I don't even know. It just makes your skin crawl. And this is not just the church person, even the ones in the mosques, even the ones you see them, they are the ones who are preaching, praying 5 times a day, doing all sorts of things. It's still the same mindset, and we need to put in stuff like that. Thank you so I be King for giving me the opportunity to vent a little bit. Go ahead, please.
It's all right. Thank you so much for that addendum. So I was sharing with this friend, and I said, because he's a Christian, I said, Joseph, I said, not everybody's gifting will find expression within the church. Some of us will find a gifting will find expression, in politics, like Joseph, like Daniel. And I was, I went further to educate him, and just looking at how the nation is currently, it took a generation of leaders actually to take the Israelites out of slavery. It took a generation of leaders to lead them from the wilderness to the promised land. And I was sharing with this person that just like also in Nigeria, it took a generation of leaders to actually take us, from colonialism to independence. And whether we like it or not, we are making that decision right now, whether we are the generation who would actually lead our people back to slavery or back to colonialism. With what China is doing right now in our country, it's left to us to decide. It's left to us to decide what role we are playing. We are playing in the transformation of Nigeria. So I was sharing a few ideas because I feel like every Nigerian, knows a lot about the problem, but hardly do you find people with solutions, documented solution as to how do we move from where we are to where we need to be as a country. And so I was sharing, just like someone mentioned earlier, that Nigeria has 2%, arable land. There is no way you can separate spirituality from politics. There is just no way, because every decision that we make in politics affects all of us, regardless of your religion. And so it is important for us to begin to ask ourselves, the question: what on a personal level, how can I contribute? How can I, add value? Right now, as I speak, in Nigeria alone, we have about 5 to 10 million kids that are out of school, and who's talking about that? And I think that just of recent, I think it was a senator who moved the motion for public office holder wards to get education in Nigeria, and that bill was rejected. And nobody was, I didn't see anybody taking to the street for that, because the education system right now in Nigeria is just nothing to write home about. We're having to travel abroad to get education. And every time, even when you're abroad, you see the kids of these rich people, and you see the type of lifestyle that they live, and you cannot but be angry at the current predicament of the nation. And then I'm like, until politics in Nigeria, it becomes about the strength of your ideas and not really about how much you have, nothing will change. Because people like us who are interested, who have been collating solutions for over a decade now, cannot even get into that place, because people know that without money there is not much you can do. And that's why a lot of people are discouraged. And for like close to 5 years now, I've been talking to people in churches about the need to get involved in politics, particularly in the church, and not wait until things are where they are right now. So I feel like this conversation is, we should just move beyond, paying lip service to this conversation and taking, steps, concrete action, taking concrete action like we're doing right now, getting involved in politics, mobilizing people with ideas and encouraging them and bankrolling their ideas, because there is no reason why, there should be lack of food in Nigeria when we have 2% of the arable land. So I was sharing with a friend a few days ago. I said, what happens if we institute like a farmer's corps, just like we have the police corps, and then people are recruited to be farmers for the country? And we have national farms in every state of the country, recruiting at least 1 million people, and where people can actually have access to food and they're gainfully employed on the farm. I think the issue of poverty will be reduced, will be drastically reduced. But there are many templates, there are many solutions. There are solutions everywhere, but it just seems like we are just wrapped up in this problem, and we make it seem like the current crop of leaders makes it seem like the problem in Nigeria is beyond impossible. That Nigeria is beyond redemption. But I don't agree. They make it seem so that we can think they are doing a lot. Young people are leading everywhere in the world. Young people are making a difference. And then to think we, as young people, we just want to sit back and let this old generation of leaders continue to lead us back to slavery, it's something I would never understand. So I really thank you for this platform. I don't know whether, just talking about it will be enough, but, at least we can start from there. But how can we, as young people, because, I have a couple of young people around here. I'm currently in the US. When we're talking about how do we, raise funds to begin to build schools that, we can find the volunteers to teach and take kids out of school. It is unlawful to find kids on the street anywhere in Europe or in America hawking food. And that's where it starts from. Hawking foodstuff and hawking on the street. When people are not educated, I mean, transformation, I think, begins with education. Because even the percentage of people who have access to technology and on these platforms, they are nothing compared to the people, in the rural areas who are not educated enough to know what's exactly going on. And I think that's where we need to begin to start from, to educate people, to go into these places, build schools and get people to educate the people, to educate the people in rural areas, to educate out of kids' schools. I mean, and see, and then begin to, project a vision over the country. Because for me, it's about, having a leader that can actually, analyze where we're coming from, where we are, where he wants to take us, and have clear-cut vision as to where we want to go. Not many people. I mean, just to add, when I look at the flag of Nigeria and I see the green, white, green, it says something to me that Nigeria was a nation that was at some point great on agriculture, and if green appears twice, we can also be great again on agriculture. If we have that vast amount of land, and it's just really sad that we're a nation, in poverty when we have all these resources. I think I'll use the mic. On this level. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, I.B. King. You've said quite a number of great things. I'll just take a few. I'll just take a few of the things that you've talked about. And you told, when you talked about the way the leaders we have today try to make the problem in Nigeria look as if it's beyond redemption. It's actually a strategy that they have, and it's not a new strategy. And I'll give you an example. When I was much younger, I thought I never. If anybody had told me that now I will have a mobile phone, I would say it's a lie. I will look at you need to look at the people and say, who are you fooling? I mean, we'll have people who will tell us that, in certain countries, in Ghana, even a cobbler, even the woman that is selling food by the market, she has a phone. We just be looking at that like, see this one, they're just carrying that. Because we were made to believe that it was something that was impossible. So we had only a few people who had mobile phone, who had that 090. They were almost like kings and queens. I mean, for you to even be able to see somebody who owns a mobile phone in Nigeria, 090. And I'm talking about something I'm talking about late 90s and all of that, not far away this thing. It was like, then you too, you have like sort of like arrived. But see what happened. Policy, just a simple policy over now. And it's there everywhere. People can have access to it. With 3,000 naira, you can own a mobile phone. It might not be the one that it might not be a smartphone, but at least you can receive messages and you can send text. With 3,000-4,000 naira, you can have something like that. So it's all about policy. So it's a strategy that they've always used. So the same way, when you think that something is impossible, is beyond redemption, guess what happens? It means you won't do anything for it to be better. That's why some people will say that, we said in Nigeria we never work. They talk about it proudly. I see a lot of them come on my timeline. This woman, how would they say, when we tell this woman that Nigeria will never work? I'm like, okay, fine, it will never work for you, but I know it will work for me, and in my lifetime, I'm going to keep working towards it. Because when they tell you something is beyond redemption, they tell you that you should stop, and then nothing happens. So that's one. The other thing that you raised on the issue of the public, the bill that was rejected on the public office holders, they should not have their children should school in Nigeria. But guess what? They will not pass that bill because if not all of them, their children are schooling abroad in Nigeria. Their children are not schooling in Nigeria; they are schooling abroad. So they will not have the incentive to pass that bill. But when you would have expected that the student union bodies, NUT, the National Nigeria Union of Teachers or Nigeria Union of Teachers, please correct me if I'm wrong. ASU, there's this during COVID-19, I didn't even know there was a private teachers association in Nigeria. They came out when they were talking about they too needed help because schools have been away and their schools couldn't pay them. Imagine all of these bodies coming out to protest, hold government accountable, or even do strike on such issues. Not every time it's only strike on their school fees and this thing. If these people were taking on, guess what? It's the focus on even whether it's not even just private, public schools will be looked into. Why do we have, especially for me, primary and secondary school education. Why don't we have good quality education? Education in Nigeria is dependent on the economic status of one family, and that's a crime. Most of us, I wouldn't have been speaking to you today if my father had allowed me to finish in the public school that I was in, where they were even teaching English with Hausa. Sometimes we only did, there was a time we only did 4 subjects. I think it was home economics, Arabic, Hausa. I can't even remember what the 4th one was. Definitely maths and English were not there. I wouldn't be speaking this way. My voice would have been killed because I wouldn't be able to express myself in English. And you know, when you have issue expressing yourself in a particular language, there's no how your passion will come out. And I see to you also always talking about how what education did in his life. Even when they were able to put me in private school, it was with the fact that my father had some passive income he was earning from shares he had bought when he had money before everything went haywire. I would go to school in the morning, coming back, I wasn't expecting lunch. When I was writing my SSC in 1991, I will never forget, I was begging people for textbook. About bill, I later bought that book for my brother, and it was less than, I think, 1,000 naira. Like, this was something we couldn't afford. My parents couldn't buy textbooks for me. I was begging people, please, let me just buy this book for me. I will get it. And nobody gave me. But today, what has been the leveler? I can speak, I can be in the same room with people whose children were the high and mighty. Why? Because of the education that I got. And this education, we are denying other people and we are not doing anything about it. That's a big crime in this country. And see countries like Saudi Arabia, Israel, they are spending so much money on education, they are spending so much money on military, taking care of even the extremism that we have, the religious extremism that we have today, a lot of all of those insurgency. Education will go a long way in taking care of them. When somebody is well educated, you can't what's the word I'm looking for now? Okay, there's a particular word that just went up. Recruit them into this extremist view. They'll be able to argue with you. They'll be able to say, okay, look at things from another angle. But we are not doing that. So these are the things that we are not doing. Then the other issue that you say, one of the things I've continuously said to people is that we cannot crowdsource our way into a lot of things. Yes, we can say, okay, how do we raise money to build schools in Nigeria to get children? Until it's policy, there is only so much. For example, before 2019, anytime I see somebody saying that, oh, they are sick, they need money to go abroad for treatment, oh, I will retweet, I will, whatever I have, the little I have, I will send something in, whatever. Come on, by 2019, I said, nah, that's absolute selfishness. Oh, when you have me, because I have access to Twitter, I can come and beg Twitter people to raise money for me to go for my medical care. That's it. What about the people that don't have access to Twitter? What about the people in the villages? Why are we not making demands for healthcare system? Or all the people, if you put together the people that have come to Twitter to ask for money for healthcare that have gotten it, if they come together and provide a voice to say, see what we went through, if not for this thing, let us make demands for a good healthcare system. You think we will not have something, we will not have a body that is pursuing healthcare system? We cannot crowdsource our way into good healthcare system, good educational system. We need policies. And for us to be able to get these policies, we need people, politicians that will go in there, competent. We need to put people in governance. And so what I will say to you, IBK, part of the things like 2023 election is around the corner. It's in our hands. So we either do this work, this 11 months, or is it now 10 months remaining, and put in all the work and get incredible people with competence, character, and capacity into office. And within Christian Church of God is already doing that, saying we're going to use our offices. Who are the people who can run? And hopefully they have stringent criteria. You have to be competent, character, capacity, somebody that is known to be patriotic, to have empathy for the people that will do the right thing, not just bring anyhow people to bring it. That's what they already do. Can we all do that in our own little space and bring out people that we run? They'll put money in their campaign, ensure that they get that, they're able to give us policy. Because Nigeria itself, we have the money to do a lot of this, but unfortunately, these monies are in the pockets of people. People are stealing. It's because they are not providing services that they should be providing. That's why they have as much to steal. If you have money being spent on education, on the things that need to be done, even like social services, we should have ambulances in this country that will provide work. You will spend the money, and there will be nothing for people to find to do. So, like I said, The Redeemed Christian Church of God have shown the way. Every one of us, our organizations, wherever we are, we have to be interested in politics, because politics is also affect lawmaking, affect every part of life. Even your breathing oxygen in and bringing out carbon dioxide, politics will affect. If they put a law today in Nigeria that says that, oh, if anybody dies, they should not bury that person, the person should be. It's a law, it has been passed, no matter how obnoxious, you will not be fighting it for it to be corrected. But if it goes through the process of passing law, it passes through. So that's why we need to focus on politics, to get people in there that will be doing the right thing for the people. And one thing also, before I call on Esther, get ready, you're going to be our next speaker. One thing also is for us to understand that we normally neglect the legislative arm of government. That is the bedrock of democracy. Executive don't have power. If they don't have, it's because our legislative and they've thrown away their power. That's why you see a whole House of Assembly that can impeach a governor is being toyed by governors. So and then you see a rubber stamp assembly that can actually impeach a president and hold the executive accountable. So we need to focus on the legislative arm of government. You don't need as much money to put them in there, and they make laws. They have oversight functions, and they're able to hold government, they're able to hold executive accountable. We should be putting people in there. We should be using our money. We must put our money where our votes are. Esther Okoye, you have the mic, please.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. I must commend you, ma, for everything you always do to ensure that we are educated, we are informed, and we are kept abreast of what is happening in our polity. Now, with what the Redeemed Christian Church is doing, I think it has come to the realization of the church that enough has been said about misconceptions in politics. Now, the church does not want to just sit down anymore and fold its hand. They want to be involved. There are misconceptions, yes. A lot of bad things happen in politics, yes. But I think the church has come to realize that they have a part to play in politics. They have a part to bring in good people and influence the polity and make it be the way it should for the benefit of the common man. But if the church continuously sits back, nothing will be done. A lot of persons can be influenced from the church to know that, yes, I have a part to play in making Nigeria a better place. I have a part to play in the polity of the country. Even if I don't come out to stand for an election, I have a right to pick whoever I want to be my leader. So if Redeemed Christian Church of God has come out to say, okay, this is what we want to do, anybody that is berating that
Okay.
Hello?
Hello, you went off for a bit.
Okay.
We're talking about anybody that is berating them. So that beratings.
Now,
go ahead.
Now you discover that from where I am coming from, the Calabar Itube has been like that for years. As close as Uyo is to Calabar, you will stay for 6 hours on that road. You stay for 10 hours on that road at a spot, and we have representatives. If the federal government is not doing anything, we have representatives. But what are they doing? Absolutely nothing. And then, of course, the youth, we are not helping ourselves. We find this one coming to say, okay, we want this road repaired. They give them a token, and they swallow their tongues, and nothing is done on that road. And then it brings us to the point that it is not even enough for you to have your PVC. You go and you cast your vote. Do you stay to ensure that your vote is protected? Or you cast your vote and you just walk away and you allow these manipulators to come and manipulate your vote? And then you go back and you say, I did not vote for that person, how come? So, like you said, we need to volunteer, get involved, not just getting involved, seeing it to a conclusive end. Enough of docility from the youth. We talk a lot about these things on Facebook, on Twitter, on all of the media spaces. But how much effort have we been able to put to make sure that these things come out right? In 2019, I was involved in elections. I volunteered for a young man with dreams that wants to represent my constituency in the State House of Assembly. But when I got to the local government council, I cried. Because even politicians that were contesting that were not supposed to be in that place, they came in that place. And naira notes were exchanging hands. Even to a professor I respect so much, I saw the words of naira notes being given to him. And what happened? Even in his polling unit, he had no vote. And I asked myself, he voted for himself. His family members voted for himself. Where were his votes? So these are the things we are clamored with. But as youth, if we say, okay, I've gotten my PVC, I have gone to vote, but you are not there to protect your votes, it all amounts to nothing. I think it is a call for action from the church. And it is not just that they are setting up this department because they want to be heard. They have gotten enough of this. And from the church, the sensitization will start. You know how it is with us and religion. When a pastor stands on the pulpit and say, it is your right to vote. If you don't vote, you are sinning against God. I mean, they will carry it on their head, take it to their family, take it to their children, and press home that point to ensure that everybody gets involved in this process. I think this is a time of community mobilization. Look at what happened in Anambra State. An old woman stood her ground and refused 5,000 naira to vote against her conscience. If an old woman can do that, I mean, a lot of youth, because it is still the youth that they use for thuggery. It is still the youth that they use for manipulation. So it is enough talk and more work, more action from the angle of the youth for us to take on these things. And with what the church is doing, if other churches should come out to say this, credible candidates that do not have the wherewithal, that do not have the financial muscle to do this, the church can sponsor them and say, yes, we believe this one is credible, and so we know this person can represent the interests of the common man to take Nigeria to the glorious days that we envision for this country. And before you know what's happening, we will not just be looking for a country where we are right, but we will have a country that works, where our children will go to school, and we will not even be concerned about going outside the country to seek for education. And in the process, some of our youths are dying in their very prime age because they are looking for what? They are looking for greener pasture. I think I have to drop the mic at this point. Thank you for this very good platform. God bless you, man.
Amen, and you too. Thank you so much, Esther. Great points. I just noted those points. I will take in more speakers, and then later I will talk about it. But let me just say something, because I see a lot of people coming up to, okay, comment me and all that. Please feel free to criticize me. I love criticism because when you're told where you're not doing well and you improve upon it, guess who is better? It is you. I don't get angry, so please don't see that because people are saying nice about me. If you have anything, this thing, and also the compliments, thank you. But let's use the minutes and talk more about the country, please. So don't feel intimidated if you something you don't like, Aisha, or there's something I show my big mouth. I even know I have a big mouth, honestly. Sometimes my wife say this your mouth, because after you follow your mouth, it will kill you. So I've always said, so just feel free. For me, all opinions, all these things, I take compliments and criticism the same way. There are people's opinion about me, and I just take the feedback from them. So please don't feel so intimidated or anything. So the next person that is, I think we have quadrillion. Is it quadrillion ambition? You said, right? Yeah, quadrillion ambition. I think gazillion.
Yes, quadrillion ambition. Thank you very much, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you for this great available, and thank you for raising such a topic today. First and foremost, I would like to let people know, as in change the perspective of the reasoning of some of our people about our politicians, because most people usually criticize them that these people are not wise, they are fools, they are no. These people are wise, but I will just use the term they are just wicked for them. If you look at their personal life themselves, as in their personal growth, you will know that these people meant well for themselves and not for the nation they are governing. Now, let me start from the issue of the COVID-19 palliative. We also what went down, how they hold palliatives that are meant for the general public. Now, that one being outside. Now, there's a recent issue in Lagos State right now concerning the BRT issue about how a young lady in Bamishe or so was being murdered. I think this same week, the governor of the state's wife was celebrating her birthday. And a young lady who was in pain, as in, she was like, you people are not airing the trending issue, as in, what is making another family cry? You people are here jubilating, but because of selfish interest, they started asking this young lady, who is she? What right does she need to like interrupt their program? So many issues like that. Now, concerning the insurgency issue, the not killing and so, I've said it times without numbers. It's not every battle you win on field, fine. But you negotiating with bandits, it's like the Holy Book said it. He said, a thief does not come just to come and play with you. He comes to kill and destroy. Now you have a thief or a robber at your doorpost, and you have a double-barrel gun in your house. Instead of fighting for your life or protecting your life and properties, you went open arm to embrace them. What are you inviting? You are inviting destruction. Now, flashback to 2013 or so, concerning the issue of fuel price, I could remember vividly from 65 naira per liter. In my own area right now, we say the last time I went out to get fuel, I got it at the rate of 220 naira. Now, what is the achievement, or what has been the achievement of this government from far back as 2014 they've emerged to this present situation? Now, that takes me back to what I used to open my speech, that these people are not foolish. They are wise, but they are just wicked. Naturally, they are wicked. I have seen so many country manifesto when these politicians want to get to power. I haven't had a manifesto in other countries like UK and US that vote for me, I will build roads, I will make roads rather, I will build hospitals. It is your right to do these things. They are my civic rights. They are supposed to be put in place and as in ready made for me to use. Now, but instead of you people, you are just draining us. As in, an incident happened last month. I was so pissed. I had to come down from the vehicle I bought. What happened? These young folks that call themselves road unions and co started dragging the driver that took me, that he hasn't paid for tickets. Then I asked him, why are you disturbing this young man? He has been driving all day. You will stay under the tree doing roadblock. Are you a policeman or a soldier? They said they are being instructed from an office. Which office? They said, didn't I see the clothes they were putting on? And truly, the clothes they were putting on has the picture of my state government and deputy and the local government chairman. Then I asked them, this money that you are taking is going to where? They said it's revenue. That is revenue that they are collecting VAT. I said, which VAT? Is it the VAT that me myself, that I still pay tax? That even if I have something to do, probably in the public sector, they will still ask me that, where is my tax bill? You people are extorting us. And this is the same government that in my local government, they have to call in that the road is so bad, not until Idris Abdulkarim sang about the road. That is what I said. The response he gave was like he doesn't know that the road is that bad. In a state you are governing. Now, when he went there, he just first time he said he did palliative. And some youth in my community are even saying he tried. Then I was like, imagine, this is my rights, these are my rights. You have zero contribution to education, to employment, to infrastructure. Go to airport now and then, you see millions of Nigerians looking for greener pastures.
Okay.
I almost took the step 2016, but I was happy I didn't take the step. I have saved enough that okay, I'm not going to school in Nigeria, I'm not going to do this, I'm not doing 2011. Sorry, it was 2011. But my dad told me something. He said, you are going to another man's land. This is Nigeria. Then I think Boko Haram issue started trending then. Boko Haram is happening in our own land. We are afraid. What if you get a greener pasture? You know nobody there. Why not sit here, work together with one another and make this country great? You understand? And I follow the advice. You can be successful here, but our government are not making it easier for us. Imagine you said everybody should be an entrepreneur. I could remember vividly me growing up. In my street, in my community, I think I have 90% of civil servants. And with that little money they were collecting there, they sent 4 to 5 children to school and they were graduates. Can that happen now? Can that happen now? 30 minimum wages.
Yeah, not likely. So, what Quadrillion ambition? Because there are so many people who are on the line, I'd just like you to round up. So
let me just round up. I think the way forward, man. I really appreciate your commitment towards trying to like push everyone and let us be on an equal page. Like Nigeria can be better again. But I think it is that time we take this thing off social media. Let's take it to the grassroots talk, as in physical gathering, as in people need exposure. Imagine someone, a youth that I share same age bracket with, me expressing my feelings that the governor of my state is doing nothing and you are saying he's trying. You understand? So thank you so much for it. But I think it is high time we take this discussion offline, then we take it physical gathering from the grassroots. Thank you very much. I dropped my mic.
Thank you so much, Quadrillion Ambition. We are looking forward to seeing you at the top. Well done. Thank you, sir, for that. You said something that was quite instructive. I know you just looked at it. I've never looked at it from these issues to say, when we say our politicians, like you said, they are wise, they are competent, they know what they're doing, they are just wicked, and they refuse to give us that competence. That's why if you look at their personal lives, they grow in their personal life, but they do not carry Nigeria along the same way. And I think what is most instructive for that is empathy is very serious. We really don't look at it in this country. Empathy, because somebody who has empathy, we want to carry you to the position that he also is in, and it's even okay for you to even be better and greater. But you see people who have no empathy, they want to keep you oppressed forever. So it's very important for us also to look at when politicians are coming to say they want our votes, find out where were they when you were being beaten, where were they when you were down, have they ever spoken for you, have they ever wanted for you what they have for themselves. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that your faith is not complete until you want for your brother what you want for yourself. And so do our politicians want for us what they want for themselves? That's the reason why they want good quality education. They go outside of the country to get that, but they do not bother to want it for the people that are back here. Esther also said quite a lot of things. There was one thing she asked, she said, what are our representatives doing? So the thing is that most of our representatives, they do not have any loyalty to us. So when I'm talking about, for example, the National Assembly members, the state houses of assembly, they don't have loyalty to us, because most of them know that if they did not belong to what the parties that they came from, they had not gotten the party ticket, they would not have been voted for. Because this mentality we keep saying that, oh, it's only this party, that party that will win, they are the only ones with structure. We are still doing it, even going towards 2023 election. We do not understand the damage it does. It simply says to this party, there's no need for them to try to do anything better. They can continue the way they are doing. Any candidate they give the ticket to, the candidate will win, because people have given up of their life to say it's only those candidates who will vote. And so when these candidates get into office, they do not have loyalty for them, because you did not vote for them, you merely endorse them. You only endorse, it's the parties that voted for them. So their loyalty is to the people who gave them the party tickets, the people who so their loyalty is more to their fathers and godmothers, if they have godmothers there, and not to the rest of us as citizens. So until we begin to be the deciders, the ones that ensure that they are once getting into office, they will not get there. And also, when Esther, thank you so much for volunteering. I also volunteered for that 2019 election, and it's a beautiful thing. And we have a lot of people who are either retired, they don't have as much work, or they have free time, or the youth, they can give some of their time. Volunteer into campaign, volunteer. It doesn't matter what party it is, volunteer. We should be looking at candidates, not party. If there's a competent candidate comes out from PDP, why not? We will vote for him. If a competent candidate comes out of APC, why not? We will vote for her. If a competent candidate comes out of ADC, we will vote for him or her. YPP, same thing. AAC, same thing. It doesn't matter. What matters is that where are the kind of people? If you have competent people, they will speak the same language when they get to office. They will give good governance, accountability, and transparency. And they will know that it's the people that actually voted them. It's not just because they are from that party. But if you keep saying that, oh, we are not going to vote, we only vote because of party. Because I see some people who are actually, they want to go into party, they are ashamed. And they are ashamed to, so that people will not say they've entered APC or PDP. If you want to enter APC, enter. If you want to enter PDP, enter. It's not the parties themselves that are the problem. It's the people in the parties. And if they can, those that enter, they get, they're able to change. The parties are able to change the way they behave, put up more of the credible candidates, competent candidates. So be it. If you want to enter YPP or AAC or ADC or all the rest, so enter whichever one you want to. Because I've seen quite some young people. I'm talking to them. They were ones we met. I was on the flight, and then they were the guy was sort of like stuttering. I'm like, okay, why are you stuttering? When I asked him, what party are you in? It turned out he was in APC, and I said to him, why are you ashamed of being in APC? It's the people who are not giving good governance that should be ashamed of being in APC. It's the charlatans and the incompetent ones, and those are the ones who are not ashamed that are putting there. So I said, no, if you have that competence, character, capacity, don't be ashamed. One said to me, I want to join politics, and then it was, oh, it's APC. I said, go there. What you must always do is that put Nigeria interest first. Nigeria should be the number one interest. It doesn't matter whatever. As far as all these parties are the same vehicle. What must be done is that what kind of people are they to? If we had parties that were not all the same, and I will ask this question here: do we have any party that is deliberately saying that, oh, we are putting forth youth and women? Any party that today that is really being an opposition party with all the things that are happening in Nigeria today, where are the opposition? It's people that are doing opposition. We don't have any opposition party in Nigeria as it is today. They're not playing the role of opposition. They are just waiting for activists to do things for them. Then that means that when they get there, they will continue the whole thing. Even the electoral bill that was there, it was activists. People like Ario, for how many years he was fighting on that thing? Fixed politics, enough is enough. Samson Itodo, Cynthia, is it Lulu? I'm sorry, I can't. But Cynthia of Yaga doing all sorts of things. The main politicians political parties that will be affected by this, that will even benefit from this thing more, they are nowhere to be found. Because as far as they're concerned, they are not really interested in a new electoral act. What they are interested in is to enter into governance and continue the oppression and suppression. And that's the thing that so every one of us, we must get involved, volunteer, do something, and then let's begin to, even before the candidates the parties give us those candidates, let's be part of getting these candidates out there. And when we have these competent candidates, we can say to the parties, these are our candidates. If you don't give them the party tickets, wherever they go to, we will vote for them down. I keep telling people, structures are the people, you are the structure. And if we do network marketing for quality, the way people do network marketing for those forever living products, TNC, and all of that. I used to do network marketing a long time ago, but I don't do it now. If we do it, You get that. That's why we did 1 for 5 PVC. Get your PVC. Get 5 other people to get their PVCs. Have those 5 people, get 5 people each to get their PVCs. And before we know what's happening, we'll begin to get to that place where we are having good governance, accountability, and transparency. We might not get it all by 2023. No, the work has just started. For me, like I said when I turned 40, that if God gives me another 40 years, I'm going to give it devoted to Nigeria. That's for me. And I've just done 8 years out of another 40 years. If I get that, the way life is, you never can know, anything can happen, so you live your life to the fullest at any time. It's to say, let's continue to work. Even if we're gone, others will take over. Then we'll build a credible country where competent people. Imagine if we are saying, all these people are good, all these parties, see the presidential candidate, see the gubernatorial candidate, see the people going to National Assembly, see the people going to state houses. They are all competent candidates, they have character capacity. Then you can be choosing the best among the best, rather than looking at between the devil and the Red Sea, between failure and failure, choosing lesser evil. And I've said it before, and I'm going to repeat it. Lesser evil in opposition is monstrous evil in power. Many people have forgotten that Lion Mohammed, this Lion Mohammed that you see him jumping up and down, talking anyhow, answers protesters, where he took them as enemies, coming after. He was arrested in 2014 for loitering by DSS during Osun election, because they were on the scene when they were arresting all of the APC opposition people. Osun election, it was not a Ekiti election. He was arrested. DSS, Merili Oga, was on trial. He said that they arrested him for loitering. Why? Because he was out there. Today, the same Lion Mohammed that was then, they were part of the lesser evil. We call them lesser evil. Then when they were APC was opposition, we said they were lesser evil. Today they got into power, they became monstrous evil, and they're doing so a whole lot. APC's a party. The DSS dealt with those people in opposition, arrested them. A whole governor, Adams Oshomole, which is my own state governor, was stopped from flying. Others from our home. You can imagine a whole governor stopped from flying because of by Jonathan's government. But yet we've forgotten all of this. We are saying, and then we voted them thinking they were the lesser evil. Guess what? They got into office, they became monstrous evil. So the issue of evil, lesser evil, should be out, and we should focus on this. How do we get more and more competent candidates? What we should be saying to the Redeemed Christian Church of God is that they should fear God. There's God in their name, Redeemed Christian Church of God. They should fear God. It should not be about who has money. That's the person they will support. It should not be about who has whatever. Like, they should be looking at competent people, politicians with competence, character, capacity. That's what they know can come and work for Nigeria. That's what they should be pushing for. And we call on other organizations, also other religious bodies, organizations, trade unions, professional bodies, and all of that. Let them continue. You see this private sector, these billionaires that are busy frolicking because they are enjoying the bad living, it will affect everybody. See what is happening in Russia. They are putting sanctions not only on the state, but also on the individuals. So they should know this frolicking with our politicians that are giving us bad governance, although Buhari has already shown everybody, it's already affecting the private sector. They should be interested in politics, ensuring competent people get into office, not just to be donating money for the already charlatans we have in office to continue to give us that bad governance. So we're thanking the people that we have now. I think the next speaker, I think is it Ketura, but between you and is it Fares? I don't know who is it, but Ketura, go ahead.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for this. I'm very happy to be here, and I'm happy that the Redeemed Catholic Church has started something very, very nice, because mostly Nigerians say politics is a dirty game. They don't want to involve themselves in it. But once the game gets very dirty, it affects all of us. So if the Redeemed Church has started that, I now imply other churches and other religious organizations to also open such offices, because the average Nigerian is a very religious person. So if the religious bodies can involve in politics, I think we are on the right track to choosing good leaders, because the average Nigerians listen to their religious leaders. most of these leaders is because they are not accountable to anybody. Once they get into the office, they lost touch with reality and they lost touch with the masses. They are in there for themselves and they're not there for the masses. Like if you look at the present situation in the country now, where the naira has been devalued more than 6 times this year, cost of living is very high, foods, commodities are very high in the market, services are very high, and the monies are not increased. Nobody is talking about how much Nigerians are earning, but the cost of living is very high. So how do we survive? If we are talking about the ills in the society, most parents cannot feed their children. And these children, they have to go out to the streets and then fend for themselves. And when they are on the streets, they are easily recruited by these evildoers into banditry, into terrorism, into whatever source of ills in the society. Most of our young girls now are into prostitution. If you go online, you see most women will come and recruit these young girls and they'll take them into prostitution. So what kind of generation are we preparing? What kind of generation of Nigerians are we hoping to look up to when we say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow? But the fault is the fault of our leaders, because people that are in those offices, they're not doing the right thing. The average Nigerian sees a political office as an avenue for him to go and make wealth. They don't go there for the interests of the masses. They go there for their personal interests. As soon as somebody gets into office, he builds a mansion, he buys fleets of cars, he goes on vacation to choice places around the world, and nobody questions him. Where does he get those monies from? Is it only his salaries? Monies that are meant for the people, they use it for themselves, and they are not called to account for these things. Most of Nigerians patronize these thieves. I'm sorry to say that. They patronize them because they're stealing our commonwealth. And one of our basic problems I must mention is tribalism. Most Nigerians don't see themselves as Nigerians. They see themselves mostly as tribal men. And if we, the common Nigerians, do not come out and speak in one voice, then Nigeria is heading for doom. We don't see ourselves as Nigerian. We see ourselves more as tribal men. If an Igbo man is in position and he's doing the wrong thing, and a Yoruba man or Hausa man complains, Igbo people will say, he wants to attack our brother. Why is it that it's not that our own is there, that they're fighting him? If a Hausa man is there, same it continues and the trend continues. But we see Nigeria as the only home we have, and we see ourselves as Nigerians. Then if a leader goes wrong, irrespective of his tribe or religion, all Nigerians will speak in one voice and the person will go back on track. But we have some people that are siding him, like during the EndSARS. If you come online, you see a lot of comments that people were making, that people want to remove this present government, blah blah blah. They refuse to see the real motive of which the EndSARS protesters were talking about. So those kind of situations are very, very bad. We should see ourselves as Nigerians and hold our leaders accountable. It will be more profitable for us. Like the issue of agriculture, look at Nigeria as area for land. We are still importing food. This is very hello.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Just try and round up so that we get the many people to. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Like the issue of agriculture is a disgrace that Nigeria, as large as we are, as capital of Nigerians are, we still import food. There is no state in Nigeria that does not grow a staple food that we consume. But you still import food because of bad policies. Because of we have good policies that they are not well implemented. They will say they are doing growers, whatever, agri lenders, whatever. This money will not reach the farmers. They don't reach the farmers. You form groups and they said government is coming to give you people loan, give you farm implements, blah blah blah. You don't see them. Everything is paperwork. So if we don't put the right people in governance, this is how it is going to continue from generation after generation, and nobody is coming to fix Nigeria for us. We are the ones that are going to fix Nigeria for ourselves. If we like lie, insult Nigeria, say anything about Nigeria, but there is no place in the world you go and be a first class to fix it apart from Nigeria. Even if you are giving a citizenship of other countries.
Okay, I think Ketura is having a bit of network issue, but I think we've heard her. loud and clear. Okay. Okay, so unfortunately, I can see that your network went off a bit, but thank you so much. I think we've gotten the main gist of what you're saying. Indeed, Nigeria is where you will be that first-class citizen. There's a difference between a Nigerian Canadian and an American Canadian. When they say an American Canadian, they know that he's in Canada because he wants to, not because he has to. And then also for Cordelia, I think it was Cordelia Ambition that talked about, please, I always say to anybody, if you have opportunity to leave Nigeria and you want, please do it. It doesn't mean that you're not loyal or something. You can also go there, get the knowledge, everything, and come back. If I was the Nigerian government, by now, we should, as far as the government should deliberately be training people to send them abroad. They want our doctors, so why don't we train more doctors, get more those things, get work? We can be, even if it's remittances alone, the money they are sending back, that's something. We can train you, get you there, let you go up there. There was a time that the Indians were training teachers for Nigeria and other countries. So there's so much that we can do. So as we round up, I wanted Jack to speak because his network is coming and off, but unfortunately he's connecting again. So the next speaker is it Fares at SCEPTY? Please, you have the mic. Fares? Almost some names are distinct.
Yeah, it's Fares.
Yeah. Okay, Fares, go ahead.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, so I want to start with the Directorate for Politics and Governance position that was opened, that was created by the Redeemed Christian Church of God. I want to say it's a very good one, and I feel if others need to, other churches and religions need to probably do something like that, so that I feel it will help to it creates a path where we can push people that has credibilities and forward for political positions, and I think it will also help to hold such people accountable, while they are in offices. So, and I also want to say that before then, I think Pastor Hihi Adeboye, I think about 2 or 3 years ago, has actually done something similar. He came, I think, on the first day of the year. He came online. He came up and he told members that there should be card-carrying members. They should ensure that they go to join political parties so that we'll be able to, be active in politics. So overall, I think the man has always been doing stuff like that. I'm not sure if a lot of people know. I worship there, so I know those stuffs. Yeah, and I want to say he has always been doing that. Then one other thing is that most of all these politicians come there. In fact, some of them, I think the Benue State governor, some big shots like governors and senators and the vice president, and I think over 10 people that are holding political power presently are workers in that place. So the man feels it's right to do stuff like that. So that on the one side. Well, I would like to say that our problem is, like you said, that Nigerians don't have sense. Was it you, some speaker that said that we don't usually have sense? We don't have sense in the sense that we know what our problem is, but we lack the sense to act towards it. A lot of people will just get a kickback and still lay back. They know that, okay, that's the norm. That's how it's always happened, and they don't want to move an inch to get things done. But we all see how that has been playing out. It has not been good, and we are here. We are where we are. But one of those things I want to say is that beyond voting credible people into power, I think our constitution is a very big problem. It's a very big problem. It's one of the reasons why we're where we are right now. As a daily file to me, we always say it's an evil document, and I believe that is what it is, because it only empowers the ruling class, like he also said, the ruling class. So but he says they are the ruling class, so it only empowers them against the citizens. So what do? I think in looking for what to do, we need to think about, okay, the kind of people that, so I mean, in looking for what to do, how to tackle the issue of the constitution, we need to think about the kind of people we want to be there, because the truth is we need to take that constitution off if we really want to go forward in this country.
Fares, so sorry for pushing it, but you get the answer, and you have the question, and it's as you are struggling to marry both of them together. It's what you said earlier. We need to get competent people that see that the constitution is bad and they're going to fix it. So what happens that what we need to do now, so because a president, I think the mistake we are making, a president will not give us a constitution. No. It's not the president that will give us a constitution. It's not the governors. It's the members of the National Assembly and the state houses of assembly. So what do we do now? So we need to get people who understand that we have a bad constitution that needs to be changed into office. And the moment we get those people in, they can get it done. If the president does it, as they just do their 2/3 to veto the president. So your answer is still your question. You've already answered it. It's just competent people. So we need to now focus on the legislative arm of government, not just the executive.
Well, I was actually trying to buttress the importance of the legislative arm of the government. That's where I was actually headed. Okay. Thanks for the correction. So we really need to get.
No, it wasn't a correction. It's what you said. I just put together what you said.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Well done.
So I feel like one of the speakers said that our leaders are actually they are wicked, that they are not people think they are not wise. They are actually wise, but they are wicked. Truly, that's the sad realities on ground. So one of the things I personally think we should be doing beyond talking is, as much as we talk, we need to come out, like you said, volunteer and all of those things. So while we are volunteering, I think an option is town hall meetings. I don't know. I've been thinking, how do we marry this? Because we need to sensitize people. People need to understand that all of this our problems, and they need to know that it is not actually the party is not the problem. I don't think it's like people say that tribalism is one of our problems. Maybe to them, and they might be rightly so, but for me, I think it's more of sentiments in regards that, okay, what am I getting directly from this person if I push you in? So I think it's regardless of the tribe, wherever they are coming from. So and that's the big problem. Nigeria comes first. Nigeria is all of us. We need to preach that message to everybody, so that when any leader, any person we want to push in front, that we want to vote in, must know that he is also coming on that wing, that Nigeria is first. He is only there to make sure Nigeria is first, not him. Because what they've done, you and I know that what they've turned the whole thing to is chop make I chop. They're only they don't care about any other person. The citizens, they don't care about us. It's just them. Just look at I keep wondering, why would they push that bill? Somebody is telling you that, okay, let's fix the educational sector. Ban your people from moving let every political holders children school in the country. it's the knock-on effect that the Nigeria is coming forward. Okay, let's make the Nigerian educational sector good, updated, be the best it could be. But some said they are now knowing that they now know to quote the constitution that is a gross come up with infringement on it. Can you imagine? But they don't know that. Okay, no. So so as we allow other people to talk, I think we should do more of sensitizing each other. And I think if there's a way we could do a town hall meeting across the rural centers, because everybody, all of us are in the Basset. I'm in Lagos. I know what's happening. In fact, before I came online, I'm an Arsenal fan. We have a group. So I was there. This was basically what we were talking about. Big money. In fact, that was why I saw the notification of your space. But because we were doing that, I couldn't come in. Come in immediately. But this was the same thing we were talking about this morning. So you see what I'm trying to say, that we know that this has come is an issue that everybody's talking about presently. So we need to take the momentum and take it to the rural area, explain to them this is what we need to do, let them try it, and encourage people to go and register for PVCs, then go out. One other thing I noticed is this. Sorry, this will be the last thing. Have we paid attention to the numbers that gives us votes, that gives these people the power? Like, for example, they tell me, for example, in this last by-election in Lagos State, I went to vote. So when I got there, what I noticed was the APC. All the APC people there, what they did was all the party excos or whatever, I don't know how they put it, I'm not a party person. So they have 5 voters card. How did I know? One of the rules was that the INEC said if you don't have a mask, your mask, you cannot vote. So I forgot mine at home, and I now went out. So there was this lady that I know, and I told her, please, can you give me a face mask? Because she has some. So while she was trying to open the bag, I saw the voter's card. Fine. So I asked the question, what are you doing with these cards? She started laughing. So I tried to go to the mother as well. I knew, because I know the mom too. So I went to the mom. I acted like she has already given me the face mask, so I kept it in the pocket. But I wanted to be sure that's what was happening, that what I saw was right. So I went to the mom. I asked her, please, I need a face mask. I know she was going to open the bag. So I was looking on, and lo and behold, she opened the bag. I saw about 3 other cards. What were they doing? So they will just bring people in and give them cards, just go and vote and pay them. Now, when the election finished, you were counting about 600 people that came to vote, and by my calculation, I don't think we were up to 100 or 150. But did you see how they came about with that figure? So what I'm trying to say is the numbers that choose that guarantees political posts in election are actually minimal. We need to vote massively and do Edo style. We need to stay there, make sure our vote counts, and protect it like our life depends on it, which actually is a reality. Our life depends on those votes. So if we can do that, I think we will be fine. We will be fine come 2023. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Faiz. I'll quickly go to Jack. You will give us the closing remark. Unfortunately, for those who are requested, I saw those who had accepted their request before internet kept throwing you away. So let me have Jack quickly, because he was facing the same problem. To Jack, go ahead, please.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon,
Madam Aisha.
Welcome.
Good to be here once more.
Welcome.
Okay, so do we really want a country that works, or we merely want to be right? It's a deep question, really. And for people like us that love Nigeria genuinely, of course we want a country that works. And yesterday I was in a space where a man was narrating how his 28 years old son that lives in UK, was born and bred in UK, had never seen the light go off for one day. And as I speak to you, I am currently in the house and there's no light anywhere. So you have to burn fuel all the time and all, In close to 3 decades of my life, I'm not sure there's any day I've had constant 24 hours power supply in this country. And it's disheartening that it gets worse and worse and worse and worse on daily basis. 2015, 2014, a lot of us actually felt that our nation needs to be rescued and then we needed something new. Unfortunately, we got something worse than what we bargained for. And it's a shame. I heard some people talking about what Redeemed Christian Church of God is doing. And I kind of really question how people think in this country, for crying out loud. So we have all clamored for everybody, all hands to be on deck for us to rescue Nigeria from the evil that bedeviled her over years. And then some persons or institutions, religious bodies are beginning to stand up to their responsibilities in building a nation, knowing fully well that they have a platform. And then some persons are talking about whether they want to support whoever, Professor Shibajo, or whether they want to. So how is that supposed to be the problem now? We are talking about religious body. We are talking about religious bodies standing up to their responsibility, doing what they should have done for years. This is part of their responsibility, for crying out loud. We need people, traditional institutions, to understand the role they play in nation building. Most of the families have failed. The schools have failed. We turn out half-baked graduates on yearly basis. Our society is depleted, for crying out loud. And then, if the religious bodies are beginning to understand some of the roles they need to play, I can tell you, I'll give you an example. When Peter Obi was the governor of Anambra State, after his first tenure, to be fair, I am from Anambra State and we witnessed what he did. But when he was the governor, in his first term, this man was busy fighting with a lot of people, trying to sanitize the system and all. So a lot of us didn't see, so to say, what he was doing. We didn't see roads, so to say, let me just put it that way. We didn't see some of these things. We didn't see the investment in education sector. We didn't see some of these investments. It was the church. It was the religious body that understood what this man was doing, because they were our elders. They knew what he was doing. And to the extent that the then Ojukwu came out and said, please, this is my final wish. Re-elect this man. I can tell you categorically that if not for the role of the religious body, especially the Catholic, in Anambra State, Peter Obi would not have won the second term. I'm telling you this, you can quote me anywhere. But he came back and then he consolidated on some of the wins he had in his first term. So if anybody is saying that the religious body should not stand up and play their role in nation, but then the person don't really understand world leadership and how countries should work in the first place. So we need all of them. We need winners. We need dunamis. We need all these pastors. We are not saying you should dabble into politics, but setting up a directorate that supports credible candidates can never be a wrong decision by anybody. And we expect people like traditional rulers, like the Obas, the Emirs, the chiefs, the Igwes and all, they should come together and set up structures like that. This is the only way we can salvage this country. If we allow, I don't know if people understand the importance of 2023. I know, so in 2015 or say 2014, so to say, I call an IT firm in Wuse Zone 5. in Abuja. And to be fair, I was doing so well. And I knew the impact of bad governance for 8 years. I understand better. I know what it means to elect another president that does not even understand what leadership is about. I know what that will mean to me. I know what that means to people, small businesses everywhere in this country. People were celebrating Nigeria that some few days ago a report came out that India has now overtaken Nigeria as the country with the highest number of poor people in the world, and we are celebrating. India has 1.4 billion people, for crying out loud. Nigeria, we are not even sure we're up to 200 million people, and then we are dragging poor people, the number of poor people, with country that is as much as 20 times as big as we are. So what are we talking about? So this is the problem. People need to understand what 2023 is about. I can't imagine living in a country like this in the next 4 years, in the next 8 years. It will not happen. Okay. So for me personally, I have decided not to complain again. Now I belong to a set of young persons that are making moves to change the narrative come 2023. We have a movement called the Take Back Nigeria movement. And what the movement tries to achieve is to have a set of young persons like me, that reasons like me, come together, we form an alliance, and they make sure that if we support a particular candidate, the person can get as much as maybe 10 million votes or something like that. I'm not sure there's any party in this country currently that can joke with 10 million votes from young persons. So I encourage us to join whatever movement we want to join, be part of the process, just like I am. And lastly, sorry, before I conclude, Ms. Aisha, I wouldn't know if I have the permission to come to your DM. I would like to discuss something. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Amen, and you too. So hopefully we get that offline. I will send you my email address. By the way, my new email address is the way I spell my name, aishayesufu@gmail.com. So AISHAYESUFU. Unfortunately, we are unable to take more hands. I will have to round off for us. But before he does that, just listening to you, honestly, Jack, I was just like, oh my goodness, you're just speaking my mind. If you had spoken earlier, I would have just gone to sleep and just, have you, just saying those things. Because for me, that was even, I asked this question: do we really want a country that works, or we really want to be right? I actually asked it out of frustration. I was just sitting down and I was reading, because I replied some of the comments on this issue of the Redeem Church coming in, and I see what some people are saying. They are using it through the back to support Osibanjo. I'm like, if they support Osibanjo, and they have a right to support Osibanjo, and if they say they are going to bring on, so what if we have a good candidate that they are supporting? We will not say, they shouldn't take part in it. If they give us a candidate that is not, we will not vote for him. Even the person who is against it, we will hold the person accountable. If the Redeemed Church does anyhow, we will all say to them anyhow. When they have done well, we'll say to them, fine, well, you've done amazing. So I was just sitting and I was really frustrated. I was like, think myself, is it that, do we really want people as we thought? Isn't there we want a country that was, or we just want to be right? Or say that, see, I told you before that Redeemed Church, they are doing this because of Osibanjo. I see people who want to, no, me, I want to be wrong on a lot of issues. Let Nigeria be the winner. When I see people come to say, now we see we're attacking you before when you hold Buhari account. I said, look, I wish you were the one that was right. I wish I was the one coming to say to you, now we see him doing great things. We didn't see that before. Just like Jack has also said that when he saw Peter Obi in his first step and then looking at it, because at the end of the day, the nation is winning. It's not all about us. Religion must be religious. Leaders must be part of politics. They must be part of demanding for good governance in the nation. Martin Luther King did not the civil rights movement wouldn't have gone to where it was if Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were just sitting down and praying to God and doing it. They had to be involved for things to work, for nation building. But one of the things also we also require for, which is very instructive, is the fact that when these failed leaders go to the churches, there are a lot of, for example, like somebody say, even workers, Redeemed church members who are in politics, who are in governance right now, who are giving bad governance. The church should be able to also call them out. All the you have even like the Izala, They have a lot of people that they ask, they support people, they come to worship the Tijaniya movement, all of that. The church, the mosque, whatever religious, but they should be able to hold these people accountable. When they enter church, talk to them. Tell them to, not the one that will be giving them mic to talk when the person is behaving incompetently, and the churches and the mosques and all of that will be giving them opportunity or be praising them and stuff like that. But in terms of being involved, well done. Redeemed Church has done amazingly well. Other organizations, religious organizations, other trade unions, student youth, professional bodies, student unions, they should also take a cue from that. Let us all be involved in politics. And then I would also want to raise, there was somebody who spoke, I think that was Fares, who talked about the fact that some people come with a lot of PVC. That's one of the things that has been happening. So this is the thing. When we do not go to vote, when we register, we do not go to collect our PVCs. We make it vulnerable in the hearts of people. There are many people who have got us, some have been taking them. Sometimes we go, we don't even sign them, right? If you register and you do not go to vote, you make your ballot paper vulnerable. Other people can use it and thumbprint upon it. If we all turn up on the election day, nobody is going to now take our PVC. For example, even if you don't get your PVC, maybe, okay, there's also something else now. With the new electoral act and a lot of things that have been happening, there's something they call BVAS. I don't know it's an acronym. I don't know the full meaning. So with BVAS, it's now, INEC is now using different means of identification, so of verification. So when you go, because they use it in the Abuja election that happened, for the councillors and chairpersons, I was there. They will either use your thumbprint or they use facial identification. If either does not work, sorry, you are not going to vote. That was what happened. And I remember there's a minister of state that was saying that after the Abuja election, that INEC should think about the fact that if it doesn't work, they should use that incidental. And people just booed her down. And they were mailing members of our party because they know what it is. No, sorry, if they can't identify you with your thumbprint and your face, come on. How did you get this? Stay out there something, because a lot of people also have PVCs and they're using people's PVCs to vote, and so this is cutting this thing out. Remember, it's work in progress. We have to keep working. INEC will come up with one idea, the crafting one, they will try to subvert the idea, they will do one thing or the other, but it's a process and we must keep going on this process. We must keep going on. We must never stop. Please, 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 please. Don't say Nigeria will not work when you have not really done anything. So the first thing you ask yourself is that, what have you done? For me, by 20, I have 11 months to put my all for Nigeria. For the next time. As soon as election is over, I don't care, whoever wins, I'm holding you accountable. If you like, be my husband. If you like, my husband run for office, I'm holding you accountable. If you like, be my brother or sister. If you like, be my relative, or we are from the same religion. That's your personal business. When you get into office, we will do office matter. And then whatever happens, I'm not going to feel, apologize to anybody for my vote, or feel that I'm going to take responsibility. No, my responsibility, and every one of us, our responsibility is before the election. If we put our all, let's focus on the effort, not the result. Let's first of all focus on what are we doing. So if you say Nigeria will never be good, ask yourself, what have you done for Nigeria already? If you have not done anything, so that's why it's not good yet. Come on, do your own bit, and every one of us doing our own bit, that Nigeria will be good. So at this moment, I'm handing over to Toyib. If you want to close, give us the closing remark, and we move on. Unfortunately, we are unable to take in more requests, but hopefully if you have another conversation. Please don't forget, tomorrow at 11 a.m. on For Citizens Alliance, FCA_socials, there's going to be a conversation on should we be having our citizens convention instead of waiting for parties to do convention and give us candidate, which is something like already what the Redeemed Church is doing. So over to you, Toyib. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Aisha Yusufu. Thank you so much for what hosting the space. Thank you so much for what you are doing daily basis. Thank you to all the speakers that have spoken. And I think the church getting involved in this is not a bad idea. We know it is good for nation building, as the previous speakers have spoken, because we need to sensitize as much people as possible to live up to our responsibilities as a citizen. we have to understand that this democracy that we have, in a democracy, if we really, really want to practice democracy, the vote is the most powerful tool in a democracy. Protest can only go so far, because we heard the government when we heard the president when he said we wanted to overthrow him when we were protesting against police brutality, you know. But with your vote, nobody can dispute what your vote is for, and that vote is to put the right people in power. So if we want to live up to our responsibilities as citizens, we have to ensure that we are doing our best to make sure that the right people get in power. And another good thing is that in the last 4 years, there will be millions of people that have moved into the voting age. Let's say they were 14 4 years ago, or they were 15 a couple of years ago. We now have more people with the capacity to install the right leaders in whichever areas that we find ourselves. These are very, very important. 15 million people gave President Buhari the election twice. 15 million. Are we saying that in the whole of Nigeria, we are not concerned enough to produce 30 million, you know, to install whoever we want in power? At the end of the day, it's a game of numbers. So we have to realize this. And again, we have to live up to our responsibilities as citizens. Recently on Twitter, somebody posted local government allocation. It is on the internet. The government website shows how much each local government is collecting from the federal government every month. One question I used to ask myself is that, do I know how much Mushin local government is collecting? Do I know how much Kajola local government is collecting in Oyo State every month? How are they allocating these funds? This is our job as citizens. When Boris Johnson broke the party, when he did party during the lockdown in number 10, children in primary school were saying Boris Johnson is not fit to be prime minister because he broke the rules. Children, you know, they were able to know that their prime minister is breaking the rule. This is how we have to be with what is happening in Nigeria. How much is your local government chairman collecting? You know, there are websites like Tracker NG that try, and if you go on their website now, on their Twitter feed, they posted a transformer that was commissioned and was not installed, how much was spent on it, a school that was meant to be built, how much was allocated, was it built? These are the things we have to pursue as citizens, because our democracy is still very young, and it will take a collective responsibility of all of us to fix it. As we said, God is not going to come down and save us. Israel and Saudi Arabia are not praying alone. They are working extensively hard. Saudi Arabia is planning to give companies tax break so that they can come to Saudi Arabia and set up there and invest in their country and help them to build their youth. If you look at their sovereign wealth fund, it's full of billions of dollars that they are investing all over the world. What is in Nigeria's sovereign wealth fund? Probably about $2 billion. You know, this is what we need to start looking at. We have so many problems. Are we talking about health? Are we talking about schools? Are we talking about, you know, where do you look in Nigeria that you don't see problem? And all of us are acting like God is going to come. God will come down. We will fix ourselves. Thank you so much to everyone for joining. Thank you, Madam Yusufu, for setting this up. And we hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Toyib, for hosting this with me. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Let's remember that Nigeria is our country, and we all need to do our bit. And let's not focus on the result. Let's focus on the effort that we are putting in. Before you look at the result, first of all, ask yourself, have I put in the effort that I'm supposed to put in? Many people will say Nigeria will not work yet. Or no, election does not work in Nigeria.